to you on a rainy day, and this is just really some of the prep that I do for creating patchwork. You have to prep the fabric. It has to be on the straight grain, and so you have to clip and then you have to pull that little thread. This is specifically on silk that, because it has this kind of softness to it, it's not so forgiving. So if you don't actually get to the straight, when you actually cut the garment out, it could be a bit distorted, could not hang right. And especially if, you know, I'm gonna do bias. I'm not 100%, and I sometimes get it wrong, but this is basically what you do. I don't know if you can see that little line that I just pull the threads out, and now I cut it, and so you have it's straight. So I take these and I put them in a pile, and then maybe this one will be easier to see. But see, this one was a triangle, so I have to figure out where the straight is, and okay, that's where it is. So now I'll clip it and pull that thread, and as you can see, maybe I hope you can see it, there's a little line right there. So hopefully I've pulled it in the correct, well, it's what it is. Then to go across here, I'll pull it, and I'll forget about this business here. I'll cut that off and start here. Sometimes I think, can there be a patch that is just too small? There can be, but sometimes that little itty bitty piece, even something like this, can be like, that could be something. And so you kind of even that off, and this is hard to see. So sometimes you have to pull a few threads because it's just so hard to see, and unless you turn it to the light a certain way, you can't see it to cut it. And then maybe you pull a thread to see, oh, how close am I? And then you put it in the pile. This is why patchwork takes so long. It looks like a test pattern. Woo! Anyway, so my next step, I'm believing I'm going to make some pants. I wanted this to be the bottom part of the leg. So I marked the pattern front and back so that they'll match, and I'm going to be placing this area when the fabric gets totally patchworked together, this line on the front and back pieces, because I just wanted it on one leg. So I still got plenty more to do to patch my, what do I want to call this? Test pattern. Test pattern leg pant. And as you can see, I got my little red, black, and green in there. So ancestors are always here with you. So I cut out my, I cut out my test pattern pant. It's going to have on one leg black, and you'll see the finished product, but it have black and white on one end. I'm going to say, if you're doing patchwork garment, you need to add like at least 2 inches on each side, because sometimes the pattern needs to move around and adjust. I had made that error. I thought I measured everything, but I had to add to the bottom. More than likely, this is going to end up being the hem, so it might not even be seen. This is my patchwork pant, using up all those silk scraps. Well, I swear to God, I think that silk regenerates itself. Many people who do quilting will tell you the same thing, that no matter how much their scrap box or whatever, how much they take out of it, it kind of regenerates itself and the box don't go down. So that's my experience. What I wanted to do was make sure between the color and this that my front and back hit at the right thing, at the right place. So one of the things you do is one seam goes down while the other one goes up, so that, and quilters know this, so that it can nest into each other, so that when you open the seam, it'll look lining up perfectly. The other thing I want to make mention is that there's a lot of fudging in sewing. So even though, because this is more important than some of the other spots lining up, this lining up is more important than anything else. I usually don't care if the things line up, my patchwork lines up, because that's not the design. That is, you know, I want it to be off. However, there are times that you do want it to match, and then you can't, well, you can fudge, but you try not to fudge as much. And here are the finished test pattern pants. Patchwork takes a while. Let me show you the side. I should say back.